Okay, Saturday, 1st of March, 2025. So Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Psychology Saturday, understand yourself and others. Sonder, when you meet a million people, you hear a million stories. Now there's a very beautiful little word in English, sonder, which means that everyone's life out there is as complicated as our own. The realization of that's powerful. To understand that every single person you see out there has their own complex life, their own hopes, their own dreams, their own passions, their own fears, their own anxieties, their own demons, you name it. It's that internalization, to understand that. And you could say, it's common sense, it's instinctive, that's fine. But to conceptualize it, to put a name to that feeling, to put a name to that instinct, and to codify it, that's interesting. Because then you could say, then you start to realize that people's lives are complex and they have their own things going on. And you start to realize and unravel human incentive, human action, why people do things or why they don't do things. Why does a person keep in touch or not keep in touch? Oh, because they have their own life, their own life going on and their own things happening, and you are not important enough, to put it very bluntly, in their life. Now, they could still be amicable and kind and friendly and polite, but this complete stranger, I don't know that person. That person doesn't know me. So what do I owe him and what does he owe me? Nothing. It's that conceptualization. And then you can go one step further and to say, well, that's why people would stay in touch. Because if they care about you enough, fair enough. Yeah. They want to get involved. And you can go one step further and say, you could say, if people's lives are complex, why don't people do X or Y or Z? Why don't neighbors knock on each other's doors and build a community and start getting involved in the street, in the neighborhood? Well, because any reason. Our lives are complex. Any reason. There's any reason why anyone didn't do anything. Again, because their lives are complex. You could invert that little preposition and say, why don't you do those kind of things? Why don't you go out and knock on everyone's door and say, how can I help? Any reason, you tell me. Any reason. Life, complex. Jobs, tasks, things to read, things to do, things to record, you name it. People's lives are complex. And most of the time, I did a video about this, I don't think I didn't. I don't think so. About, maybe I did, I can't remember, about malicious. Don't attribute things, if someone does something, it's more likely they did it out of indifference, as opposed to malicious. They don't care. They're not being malicious towards people. The world is too complicated and complex for you to be narcissistic. To say, they're out to get me. Not necessarily. They just have different contradictory priorities or values that happen to clash, and you're interpreting it as malicious. Fair enough. Or people have different priorities and values, so why don't they do X? Well, because it's not important enough. Keyword there is enough for them to care. The world is complicated, and we don't need to be so narcissistic. I did a video about that as well. It's very important to understand. And people have different priorities. People have different values. I was looking at someone, I was thinking, why isn't this person doing what I'm doing, so to speak, or to some variation, some standard deviation? I thought, this is obviously the best solution, otherwise I, narcissistically speaking, wouldn't do it. But why don't they do this? Why are they doing that over there or something different? And then instinctively, it was they got different values and priorities. Then it hit me, conceptualize it, they have different values and priorities. They have different goals, different objectives, different end destination. That's it. Why doesn't this person do X or Y or Z? Because they don't care. It's not important enough. Keyword there is enough. Otherwise they would, by definition. By definition, this vlog is important enough for me, so I'm going to put the effort in to do it. To record, to upload, to write, to type, and beyond. To store, copy and paste, you name it. And everyone's life is complex. And why don't, when people have a business or do something in life, why doesn't everyone do this? That interesting little question comes along every now and then. If this is so amazing, why doesn't everyone do it? If this is so powerful, so unique, so profitable, so insightful, why doesn't everyone read it? Why does everyone do it? Why does everyone buy it? Why doesn't everyone? And I like to say, open the dictionary and find any adjective. And that will be someone's excuse. Too proud, too obtuse, too stubborn, too sensitive, too quick, too slow, too dim-witted, too intelligent, you name it. Pick any adjective and that will be someone's excuse. This person is too lazy. This person is too hyperactive to do X or Y or Z. And that shows you the total variety, the spectrum of kinds of people out there. The neurotypical or people on the autistic spectrum that are just out there in life. And then you can go one step further and say, that person right there, how do you know that he could be your best friend? Or that person over there, how do you not know that he could be a good business partner? Or how do you know that woman down there, her, not that one, not her, how do you know that she couldn't be the perfect love of your life? There's many, many kinds of people, so the law of averages says, yeah, it's likely to happen. But then you can say, well, I can't meet everyone. I can't get to know every single person. I can't socialize every single person on the earth. For whatever reason, time, limitations, life, I got to eat, I got to sleep. And it's slow as well. Because in the meat space, moving atoms, literally moving atoms around takes energy and time. Whereas online, it's just electronic signals. Powerful. And light through fiber optic beams. Or fiber optic cables. Powerful stuff. Faster. Faster. This is fast. Getting information across, but not as intimate. Whereas in person is infinitely more intimate, but slower. We've got to move, we've got to go places. It takes time and energy to move around the world. Petrol, diesel, you name it. Fair enough. But these people out there, back to the point, these people, how do you know that that person right there could be the perfect neighbour for you? That person right there could be a hell of a neighbour for that person, but perfect neighbour for you, for example. All these combinations, we don't know. Yeah, I think the best way to find out is to do something, to be active. But then again, the question of, does it matter? Do you really care? Is it worth the risk? Values, priorities, standards, other things going off? Life gets in the way of many things. Normal. We've got to eat, we've got to sleep. We all have 24 hours in the day. Makes total sense. Life. Yeah. Powerful stuff. Yeah. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.